Hey guys, so we're at the Badlands Off-Road Park in Attica, Indiana, and this is going to be episode 1 of Would My 4x4 Make It? So, since this is an off-road park and not a specific trail, I'm going to rate different sections of the park with different ratings. I've been here before, so I know there's some areas, some sections that are pretty easy, and I'll rate them. And then there's specifically a rock garden that gets a lot more challenging. So hope you like this video.
So once you're all checked in and you're entering the park, this is going to be the main road entrance into the off-road area. And I'm coming up to a three-way intersection, kind of four. There is a way to go straight just off to my left there. But here to my left, there's what's called the mud pit. And this is going to be kind of a central reference point for finding your way around the park. I'm going to do my best to give you guys directions around the park from this area here, from this three-way intersection at the mud pit. And yeah, this is a really huge park, so it's really easy to get lost. So that's what I'm trying to do my best to help you guys keep your bearings when you're here. So one of my favorite things about this mud pit area is, depending on the time of year that you go, this can be completely dry and you can jump over the dunes like this, or it can be wet like it is right here. But even when it is wet, this route that I'm driving parallel to the cinder blocks usually doesn't get deeper than about two feet. If you ever did see those mounds go completely underwater, then I would be worried that it would be 3 feet or deeper if you couldn't see the top of those mounds anymore. So starting off here, I'm going to show you where this road goes if you turn right at this main intersection by the mud pit. So you come up here, you take a right, and this is going to be distinguishable by this big tower that you'll see here on your right that you can actually drive under. And then, you know, this is kind of a road with a lot of little mud holes on it. And if you have a vehicle that's not very capable, say maybe a 2, like you still have a stock 4-wheel drive with not a lot of ground clearance, this road right here might be one of the most fun parts of the park right here. There's nothing that you would get stuck in. The road is pretty solid underneath it, and it's kind of fun going down the road splashing through puddles. So the main reason that I like going down this road is actually for this section right here. If you take that road all the way down, it'll make a right-hand turn, go a little bit farther, and you'll come into this, oh man, I don't even know what to call it. This is like clay rock. It's slick, it's challenging, it's tough to get traction, but man, it's a lot of fun. So if you do choose to go into any of these dense forested areas, it typically gets very, very muddy and very slick very quick. So this is somewhere that I definitely wouldn't recommend going unless you have some good clearance and some mud tires, probably a level 4, just because of, I mean, you'll see here, I'm spinning my tires pretty good, just trying to get over this log that I was stuck on. I did finally get it eventually here, but man, I almost had to have a Jeep pull me out on this one. So yeah, this forest definitely gets very muddy. If you like playing around in the mud, just go ahead, dive on into that forest, and you'll find plenty of the mud. So if you take a left instead of a right at that first main intersection, it'll take you down a road all the way to this open area here. I like to use this point as kind of a reference to get my bearings back if I get lost. There's a couple of pretty recognizable hill climbs, and yeah, there's a little bit of rocks to play around on here. So this is a good spot to come back to. And if you're at this spot trying to make your way back out of the park, just take that road all the way back to the main intersection. Really, one of my favorite parts about the Badlands is this open area that I'm showing you here. Is a lot of just gravel, a lot of small rocks that are all fairly easy to drive over. And I came here 2 years ago with a stock 2011 Colorado that I had, looked like this, and we had a pretty good day. I was smart enough to turn around when the obstacles got too big, and we left with a fully operating vehicle. But you know, if you stay in the open areas and you play around on the gravel and the sand, you can have a really good day here with the stock truck. So if you drive around in the sand for long enough, you'll probably come up to this puddle that I'm driving up to here. I should call it a lake. Depending on what time of year you come, it could be as shallow as it was for me last July when I cruised through it no problems, or you could end up in a situation like this, where you have a lifted F-150 40 inches into the mud. So for a safe bet, I would just, maybe stay clear of that one. So here was by far the most sketchy part of the day. My friend with his Jeep tried to climb a hill that ended up being way too soft. Just sinking into it and falling down the hillside. There was no stability to the ground at all, and I was trying to pull him away from this tree, but as I pulled him, he just kept getting closer to it. So if there was any benefit to this, we did get a good chance to practice a pretty complicated recovery. We had his whole winch line out. We actually had to use a 20-foot extension to get to the nearest tree that we could winch from. And I'm holding his back end away from the tree while he's trying to winch his front end away from it because he was resting his hard top up against that tree where he's at. So this ended up working pretty well. He was able to winch his front end back towards the center of the trail, and then once he got centered on the trail again, we pulled him out no problem.
Yeah.
So we went over to check out the pipes, and this is definitely an obstacle that's going to change pretty drastically depending on just whatever the conditions are like when you're there. As you can see here, it's actually washed out pretty deep, and I did not have the clearance to make it up this time. So I was hard into my tow hooks, put a couple of nice gouges in my aluminum skid plate, and I didn't have the clearance for it today. But if you check out this clip, at other times of the year, it's not quite as deep. And the last time I was there last year, there was actually a stock ZR2 that made it up no problem. So definitely just check it out. It might be deep, it might not be. So one of the most fun parts of the park, in my opinion, for a four-wheel drive vehicle, if you got enough ground clearance, this is definitely going to be a 4 rated area. So basically, if you have a truck that looks like this or like this, probably just go ahead and stay out of the rock quarry. It's not going to do any good for your front bumper, and it's probably going to make your day end a lot worse. But this is the Badlands Rock Quarry, and this is definitely Jeep territory. I wouldn't recommend. I mean, you're not going to be able to play around on very much rock crawling without lockers, and probably at least 33s. So I would say level 4 for coming in here, but I'll let the Jeep speak for itself.
Good. Hold up. Stay left. All right, what a fun day that was at the Badlands. Had a great time. I really enjoyed being out with a 4-door Rubicon on 35s. I felt like that was a good challenge for the ZR2. I think he's a little bit more capable. He can definitely rock crawl more than I can with the shorter wheelbase. But the ZR2 held its own, and I actually had to tow him out a couple times. He was a little more adventurous than I was and dove down some trails that I had to yank him out of. But in his defense, I did not try the same trails that he got stuck trying. So, yeah, the truck did great. I hope you guys liked my tour of the Badlands, and I hope you like my my rating system. If you're near Indiana, or even like we are, about a 4-hour drive, definitely find time to come check it out. You'll have a great time. Thanks.